Hi, good morning and welcome to Table Talk with Navin right here on SVCm3dia, and it's a pleasant good morning to you folks for viewing Table Talk with Navin. And my guest today, I have Boxo. I worked with him for so many years in the Boxing Federation. Boxo, pleasant good morning, sir, and how are you this morning?
Morning to you and Trinidad and Tobago and the wider community, the global sporting village, that is to say. I like your introduction, but let me make some corrections here. I'm not a member of the Boxing Association. The Boxing Association is the worst thing that ever happened to boxing in Trinidad and Tobago. A. B. I am a WB. I'm a member of, lifetime member of the great boxing association they call the World Boxing Association, that is the WBC. My position presently, I am the chairman of Central America and the Caribbean for the Youth Development Boxing Program. I took a back seat for quite a while because, as you all know, I said it before on the station, I still have cancer, and it's prostate cancer, that is to say, and I had a reading of 25. My PSA read 25, and I got treated, and it's now down to 2.3, 2.8. So I'm doing pretty good. I'm not, you know, as people would say, you're a cancer survivor, but when you have cancer in your body, you have to be very meticulous, you have to be very stringent, you have to be very measured, you have to eat right and work and work right, work out too. I have had a lot of, and it's, you know, a lot of people get sick and they like to hide it, and as if it's a secret and that's your private thing. Because when you're dead, it's not a secret. So I don't hide my sickness or my injuries, you know. People ask me why I'm not on air because, you know, I spend a lot of time on myself. You know, I'm recovering and I didn't want to put the extra pressure on myself, and the time I had to invest in myself, it is properly invested. The cancer is down to almost nothing now, and I've used a lot of different herbs, and by reaching out and by being very open about it and transparent, I was able to get a lot of information. A lot of people call out. When I was on air, I gave my number out, and a lot of people call and say, you can use this herb, that herb, that herb, that herb, that herb, that bark, that bush, this, that. I tried a bit of everything. And there's something, it's very interesting that I tried, and anybody who wants, my number is 758-4000, by the way. I'm not about to talk too much on air about what I use because some people would laugh, some people would say I'm crazy. But here I am at 2.8 from 25 on my PSA. So thank God and thank all those who reach out to me, all those who send herbal advice to me and herbal medicine for me. I want to thank you all for that. Can we jump into boxing one time?
Sure.
Good. The Boxing Association, which is manned, and the president has been, and he seems as though he's been there for life, is Cecil Ford. He's been there since the 80s. And I don't know of any association where you have the same president running boxing over and over and running it into the ground. In the last 10 fights Trinidad and Tobago fighters had on the international scene, they lost every rounds. Every single rounds. For crying out loud. And I've been saying that the coaching program in Trinidad and Tobago leaves a lot to be desired. I am calling on Mr. Gabri. I am calling on Mr. Latapi. I am calling on the Director of Sports. I'm calling on the Permanent Secretary. I'm calling on the Minister of Sports and the Ministry of Sports to look closely at the Amateur Association. Make sure the next upcoming election you have a very transparent election, and we get change, and at the end of the day we can effect change to bring about positive outcome. Why am I saying this? The coaching system in Trinidad and Tobago, it is very poor. It lacks technique. Hence the reason our fighters are being worked out. They are one-dimension fighters, and they're being worked out on the international stage, and they're being beaten up because the technique hasn't been changed or variated for the last 20 years. Mr. Ford have a style in that, the way he and I call him out. I call out Mr. Ford this morning. Run a transparent election in the full glare of the media, get the people at the sports company get somebody at the Ministry of Sports to come and oversee your election and let us see a free and fair election. Case in point, Mr. Ford is saying IBA will ban Trinidad and Tobago from boxing if they don't adhere to IBA rules. IBA is now banned from the Olympics. You're going to ban entity games.
But what authority do they have to ban anything at all?
It's a cop-out. It's a threat. It's a fear factor to make the country feel that if you don't pander to IBA corrupt practices, you're going to be banned from international games. And that's what Mr. Ford used to use. It's no more because IBA is now banned from the Olympics. If IBA is banned from the Olympics, Minister of Sports, Shamfa Kojo, why are you investing in IBA games? You're sending Trinidad and Tobago boxers with state funds, our money, to IBA games, and they are banned from the Olympics. If IBA want Trinidad and Tobago boxers to come to the games, fly them in. Pay for the airline tickets, hotel accommodation, and ground transfer because it's a private entity games.
Correct.
It is not an international, like an Olympic-oriented games where if you qualify at IBA, you go to the Olympics. You have to do a whole set of qualifying all over again. So the Olympic Committee need to sit with the Ministry of Sports and its technocrats and arms and agent of the ministry and have a discussion of how we apportion the funds to the boxing association / federation, whatever they call themselves, manned by Cecil Ford and company. How are we going to fund them to go to Olympics oriented games,
right,
such as Pan Am, Commonwealth, World Games, and Olympics? These are the games that we are interested in. We're not interested in IBA games, but you all are spending money. You, the Ministry of Sports, are spending our state funds
right,
for this corrupt entity to go to another corrupt entity games, which is the Boxing Association going to IBA games and coming back with medals and getting paid for it by the state. Is it the state saying that it's okay to go to corrupt organization games and we would reward you for it? IBA is banned from the Olympics. So how could you go to IBA games and come back with a medal and you're telling the athletes that we paying you a stipend or wherever your medal, you're getting paid for it? How? Who is doing their homework? Who is doing the research? Who is doing the due diligence? You have a banned organization and or association you call IBA from the Olympics. But the state is still funding Trinidad and Tobago Amateur Association to go to the IBA games. No, that cannot work. And one more thing I need to speak on this morning. Why don't the system, the Ministry of Sport, implement or put in place or ask me to help them, and I will help them, put a coaching system in place so that the country's youth can benefit from a proper, technical, well-rounded and grounded program so that at the end of the day, the children can learn to box properly.
So what's going on?
Hold on, and let me explain you. I am an authority on what I speak of. I have trained, managed, and promote fighters. I have over 42 title belts in my accreditation. Giselle Salandi is presently the holder of the Guinness Book of Records.
God rest her soul.
God rest her soul, with 8 title belts in one.
I remember her.
She's the first human being to win a boxing title belt at the age of 14. That's a world record. It has not been broken. She's the first female boxer and the first boxer in the world to unify the WBA and the WBC title at the age of 18. That's a world record. It still stands. She's the first boxer to win 7 belts in one fight. Broken by Natasha Ragosina, went into the Guinness Books of Records 6 belts in one fight. Natasha Ragosina won 7 belts in one fight. And Giselle Salandi beat Carolina Lukaisic here at the Jack Warner Stadium and took back that record with 8 belts in one fight. 8 still stand. All of that is under my tutorship, under my watch. All of these records is there to give proof and credence to who I am and why I'm authority on the sport of boxing. I took Giselle from the same association people. She had talent, but she needed polishing. I took her, I cleaned her up, put finesse on her, put good technical skills on her, and look what she gave our country. Look the iconic figure she became. We have young, good, talented athletes in Trinidad and Tobago, such as Giselle Salandi. But just the raw talent don't cut it. You now have to put the fine art on them. You have to put the cutting edge finesse on them to get the desired result out of these. This is what the Trinidad and Tobago Amateur Association teach. And everybody is like a national anthem in boxing. 1, 2. That means left, right. Where's the other moves? Where's the other angles? I remember, and I'm saying this so that I can get a little picture of what I'm about to say. When Giselle was fighting Carolina Lukaisic, Carolina Lukaisic was a very tall girl. Giselle was shorter than her, but Giselle was standing straight like a stick in front of her. We brought in Hector Roca to train Giselle for this fight.
Right.
And a set of backbiting and undermining went on behind the scene. And Giselle told me, because they used to tell her what to do to me, and she used to come back and tell me, because I was really her father.
Right.
A mentor and a father. I took her in as my child. She lived in my house with my family. So I had Harry Raghunandan was taking over as promoter. Then you had Patrick Manning, he was the minister, and we were all in good graces with him. Then you had the boxing board who came and said that they don't want me to work Giselle corner. So they was firing me piece by piece. And Giselle stood up one day at the weigh-in and said, Boxer Potts is not working my corner tomorrow night, I'm not fighting. And that put me back in the corner.
But what it is that transpired to reach that state where they're trying to victimize you or to fire you?
Money and power and greed and undermining the Amateur Association is bad talking me. Harry Raghunandan is trying to grab her from me. The political arena, which is Gary Hunt and them, they hated me, so they wanted to take my pride project and my fighter from me. Everybody was against me at the time. Giselle understood one thing, and I'm going to make this statement. So she came back in the corner after the 3rd round. She was standing straight like a stick in front of Lukaisic. We had Hector Roca, the big, knowledgeable boxing mind, in the corner, and he shut up everybody. So Giselle came back in the 3rd round and she said, box so. Even Alec Johnson couldn't talk in the corner, and Alec Johnson I consider a very decent coach. She said, box so. This girl is confusing me. She didn't say Hector or this one. And I said, everybody shut the blankety blank up. Shut up. My fighter is addressing me. That's what I said. And it was a simple technique, and I say that to say technique is what wins fights.
Right.
Styles win fights.
Right.
And this is what these people was trying to take her from me, didn't understand.
Okay.
She and I had something going. We had what you call, we gelled together.
Yeah.
So I said, listen, change your posture. You're standing straight like a stick in front of the girl and she's jabbing off your head. And you trying to jab up at her head. Change your posture. Get down low. She have to change her direction. Get down low, give her these angles, go to the floating ribs, come back over here, go here. Jab to the solar plexus. Beat she in her stomach. Go to the belly. Weaken the belly.
Yeah.
She must cave in. When she coming down, go over the top. Uppercut here, go over back over the top. Uppercut and
so
turn
when she
it back
stout
over.
forward,
When she come down to protect your belly,
yeah.
go over the uppercut and turn it into an overhand. One day, boom, boom.
Right hand hook.
Yeah, same thing. Rock here, roll here,
left hand hook.
floating ribs over the top. She won the next 7 rounds.
Because she find her weak spot.
Change your posture, get down low. Go to the kitchen, go to the body, but the central points of the body. Floating rib, solar plexus. Boom, 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 liver punch. Right. I mean, if I talk too much, they go learn. They go try to use my technique too. So they had to come to me to teach them. You understand? And among other things, how to place your foot movement, how to not exaggerate your foot movement. You move it sometimes 3 inches to 6 inches. You don't put your back foot too far back. You find your distance, you measure her, you get inside, you place your foot, you put your foot between her legs, and you get your distance, you measure her properly. Right? Sometimes you give her a little knee nudge with your knee, you to take her off her game when she's coming down and her foot is outer place, you know. You keep her unbalanced, you give her a shoulder shove, you know, you offset her. Little techniques in between there, you know what I mean? You take your push punch technique, and that is another technique that I teach. But you know, you do all of these things in a fight. And the politicians didn't understand that. The want to be promoter didn't understand that. All they saw is a good product. And they wanted to fire me because they feel they could get somebody else. And yes, they may have gotten somebody. They could have gotten Emmanuel Stewart or Angelo Dundee or somebody to send her to and work with. But where Giselle came from, when I took her, remember, she was with Curtis Joseph, she was with Wamba, and she was with all these amateur association people. Everybody take a shot at her. Tansy Thompson tried to manage her at one time. Everybody was having a say. But she was going nowhere and going there very fast.
So we're going to continue our conversation.
Right.
We're going to take a short break and we'll be right back after these messages.
Sound Visual Concepts prioritizes delivering top-tier entertainment and informative experiences globally. Their dedicated mission aims to create an inclusive platform for a diverse audience. The focus remains on engaging with viewers and listeners, ensuring their satisfaction. Sound Visual Concepts values audience feedback and incorporates it into their content development. Viewers and listeners are at the core of all decision-making at Sound Visual Concepts. Their approach revolves around delivering top-notch content across various platforms. Sound Visual Concepts, your online high-quality entertainment television station.
And welcome back to SVC Media Table Talk with Navin and with my guest today, Boxer. Boxer, you was making some statements.
Yeah, so when I got into office with Arnold Roberts as the advisor for boxing, I started putting programs in place that boxing would have longevity.
Right.
To train, to build a nursery, to train the children, to churn out at least 100 boxers every year.
Right.
Maybe 10 will come out of the 100 will be good. You get a little 20, 30 may stay the course, and about 60 to 70 will just walk away from boxing. But we're churning out boxers every year. So I had this program with add-on skills, that is to say, numeracy and literacy. You know, you add on, you add some academics to the equation to teach your children. Because a lot of these children, they're very challenged in that, you know, I always say to these children, when you get success, and that mic and camera come in your mouth and in your face, you must be prepared. You must have lyrics and language.
Right.
That is to say, some form of education, some form of how to have a command of the English language to sell your product. That is boxing.
Okay.
You must be able to speak to the world. But we have a lot of dumb boxers, not criticizing you all, but training you all. So take away the dumbness, take away the fear for speaking to the media, take away the fear for you may say the wrong things. And what we do, we teach you mental toughness, we give you a bit of academics, we teach you boxing, we teach you the skills. And that is the program I was about to roll out. That program, I was going to invest state funds in it. Not get the money and misappropriate the money and steal state funds. I was about to invest all the money into that program. And the naysayers and the bad talkers and the backbiters, they got together and decided to sabotage my good name. So they went out on a radio station and they said, I sexually molest little girls, no proof.
No evidence.
No evidence, no proof. I peddle drugs, no evidence, no proof. I stole money in the boxing board, no evidence, no proof. I doped horses when I was a jockey, which I have an impeccable record as a horseman. Never lost a race in the protest room, never been grounded for a minute, my number never been taken down, and never win a race and lost it in the protest room. But they say I dope horse and I was banned from the racetrack. Fabricated lie. I'm the cancer to boxing. Tariq Hack and his father Molly Boxill, Claude Noel, aided and abetted by members of the Amateur Association, false information, and it went out there to ruin my credibility. This program I was about to roll out, it was stopped because the state say that if you have such a bad, negative character, we can't invest in your program. So the program went on the shelf. And by the program going on the shelf, the crooks and criminals took over the funding for the program and they misappropriated the funds and spent it back onto themselves. Look what we're getting today. As a result of the negativity, we get more criminals, we get crooks, we have murders, we have children falling by the wayside, when boxing should be one of the programs that could save the youths of this nation. The youths and them now fighting in schools. They're fighting in schools for crying out loud, when the program I had rollout was geared towards creating peace, love, and harmony within the school. All you want a place to fight, we'll give all you a place to fight in a boxing ring. All you want to fight it out, come let we go there. Every evening, we train them. Out of that boxing program you'd get, and this fighting in schools, we'd get plenty Olympic and world champions out of that program. The country would have gotten that. But the government, the ministers, the technocrats of the day like to buy into BS. Especially if they don't like you, especially if you're a boxer pots. Y'all cannot stop me from being a boxer pots. I'm a force, I'm a franchise, I'm royalty. My name carry around the world in boxing. Very few people could have a bragging rights of 42 title belts to their accreditation and 4 or 5 world records. Very few people could do that. But when you have a man that could do that and you as a country want to beat down on him all the time and stymie the growth of his vision, it is your own growth and vision you're stagnating. Minister of Sports, I don't dislike you. You're a young girl. You're from Tobago like myself. The Tobagonians asked me not to beat up on you, not to give you a easy time in office, of which I did. I take a back step. And I let you make a fool of yourself by taking bad advice from the criminals and the naysayers and the non-performers and underachievers. Those are the people that you listen to. Hence the reason, in the last 10 games, our last 10 to 13 fights, we lost every round in every fight on the international stage, unheard of by any country. No country that ever happened to. Trinidad and Tobago is the only country that ever happened to. We lost every round of every fight in the last 10 fights. That's 30 rounds of boxing on the international stage. Different fights, different boxers, 4 or 5 different boxers. You're losing every round, and as a minister of sports, you're not taking note of that and saying, how can we correct this? Well, let me tell you how to correct it if you don't know. Number 1, call boxer pots. I will help you. Number 2, the boxers have to be fit and ready mentally, physically, technically, to go out there and box for your country. I have a test that will show whether they're fit or not, and to invest in them. We'll do different types of tests, and we'll say, yes, you're fit to go and box, or you're not fit. Or if you want to go, we're not investing state funds in you. You could pay your passage and go. And prove your would. Don't get no free plane ride and free hotel, and the coaches and them running around the hotel with boxers smoking weed, coach friending with coach, husbands having concubines, coaches for wives, and all of that quagmire intermingling in the boxing fraternity, and all you're using all your genital parts to run the boxing rather than all your brains. And this is what is going on in the boxing fraternity. We had a coach from Cuba, married one of the boxers. Started friending with one of the boxers on trip and ended up marrying one of the girls. Nobody did anything about it. We have a certain coach here that is promoted because of femininity and genital parts. Nobody's saying nothing about it because they're afraid the association will victimize them. But what we getting is hit she first, don't let she hit you, cuff she back. 1, 2, 1, 2. What the hell is that? How could that be training a boxer or giving technical skills in a corner?
But is there something in place where to become a coach, you have to go through a certain level of training?
Good question. And hear what I am saying. Minister of Sports, Boxing Board of Control, I am asking you all this morning, put a program in place where the government is in charge of the boxing nursery. The government will fund the nursery, but the government will employ the professors and the coaches to coach the coaches, to teach the coaches, and train the young boxers.
Is there going to be any disciplinary action towards the coaches that you all have been training?
Listen,
or will be training? That's all.
No, good question.
What disciplinary action is going to put in place when the coaches have broken the boxing rules or the federation?
This program will come as a boxing, will serve as a boxing university.
Right.
So you have to go through your stages and your classroom, not like what is happening presently now. And bring me back to the point, if I stray from the point. What is happening now? The association will go down by the dry river, pick up 2 vagrant.
Right.
They'll go in the Kobo, in the Labas, pick up a Kobo. They will go by the mental home and pick up a madman. They will go by the blind institute and pick up somebody. They will go in the whole house and pick up a prostitute and 2 pimps. And put them in a classroom and say, you are now, they sit down in the classroom for 1 day or 2 days. You are now a coach. You now can own a gym. But you are a vote for me. 10 all you come there is 10 new votes. But vote for me and keep my association in power. And I will make you a coach. That is what is going on.
So politics is being played off then.
No, this is
the whole federation is being run by politics.
By politics. Now, at the end of the day, boxing suffer and these people remain in office. The minister and the ministry, in order to not rock their boat too much, the government must say to the association, enough is enough. We fed up all they lied to me for too long. It's over 25 years all they've been lying to us. With no results. Here what the state going to do. We're going to put the coaching academy or school or structure under the boxing board. Anybody want to become a coach must come through this program manned by the state under the auspices of the boxing board. They will roll out coaches and the coaches will roll out athletes, and then the athletes could go to the amateur association, the WBA, the WBC, the IBF. They could go where they want and box. But they must have a proper structure in teaching them how to box. The coaches, the pimps, the rats, the prostitutes, the blind institute, the vagrants cannot be teaching them to learn to box. Okay. We must have proper coaches appointed by the state. That's the only way you could break this political corruption.
Okay.
The state must step in. If the state don't step in, then we'll be spending state funds behind a ban entity, IBA. Imagine the Amateur Association telling the state, we go into our IBA games and we come back with 6 medals. And the said IBA who give corrupt decisions, the IBA who give corrupt decisions and banned from the Olympics for giving corrupt decisions. You win a fight, they make you lose it. You lose a fight, they make you win it. That's the games we go, our country is investing in, sending athletes to. It's a banned entity because of the corruption. You are now sending our athletes to those games and some of them coming back with medal. We don't know if it's a trump up medal, if it's a corrupt decision medal or what. But the Olympic Committee said these people are too corrupt and they ban them. Why are we, the state, using state funds to send athletes to these games? And rewarding athletes with state funds for coming back with medal from these games. Go to your game. Pay your money and go to your game. Or let IBA pay for you to come to the game. Win your medal. That has nothing to do with we. Let IBA authenticate itself. Let IBA be transparent. Let IBA be accepted by the Olympic Committee.
Right.
And then we will invest in you.
Okay.
Until such time, the money must be only invested in people going to the Olympic Games or the WBA or WBC or IBF fights. Not this kind of corrupt practice that we have going on here. It is going on for too long and we have to stop it as a people to get the results. Why are we losing 10, 30 every round in every fight on every stage and nobody not taking note of it? Nah. Shamfa, it falling on your doorstep. It falling on your desk. Gabriel, it falling on your desk. Latapi at the sports company, it falling on your desk too. Okay? Mr. New Permanent Secretary, it falls on your desk. You're new and you just come in. Look at how you spend the state funds on these people. Take note, advise your minister, and listen. I've spoken to the directors of sports, you know.
So we come back to that.
Yeah.
All right. We come back right after these breaks to continue the conversation here with the Boxing Federation, with Boxopots. This is Table Talk with Navin. I'll be right back after these messages.
Sound Visual Concepts prioritizes delivering top-tier entertainment and informative experiences globally. Their dedicated mission aims to create an inclusive platform for a diverse audience. The focus remains on engaging with viewers and listeners, ensuring their satisfaction. Sound Visual Concepts values audience feedback and incorporates it into their content development. Viewers and listeners are at the core of all decision-making at Sound Visual Concepts. Their approach revolves around delivering top-notch content across various platforms. Sound Visual Concepts, your online high-quality entertainment television station.
Hi, and welcome back to Table Talk with Navin. Boxo,
Yeah.
we was talking, I cut you off to go to the break.
Right.
So we now come back on the break. So can you continue from where you was?
So I have had discussion with I sat in a virtual meeting with the Minister of Sports,
Right.
with Mr. Gabriel, and Mr. Gabriel's position was, we cannot fund a WBC program, which is the greatest program.
Right.
We could only fund the Amateur Association program who go to the Olympics. Well, Mr. Gabriel, may I tell you this morning that the Amateur Association cannot go to the Olympics under IBA, under the auspices of IBA. You have made it a policy position of your own. And maybe sitting with other tech, but you come over to me and you said to me, I cannot sit here and encourage and fund an association that is not Olympic oriented. You said that to me. Go back and play back your tape. I'm saying to you that then you were wrong. You're now given a chance to correct it as the leading technocrat at the ministry, that is to say the director of sports. You must now advise your minister that IBA is banned from the Olympics. The WBC can now take people to the Olympics. You must now allow the WBC program to bear fruits, to go into the schools, to go into the communities, to assist with the growth and the development of the youths around the world that help pay around the country, that help pay your salary. Because if it's not for people in sports, you have no Ministry of Sports and you have no salary. You're on your minister. So all your best to get a proper program in place based upon my advice, and you all will get the desired result. Look, for 20-something years, you all didn't qualify anybody to go to the Olympics. I came in 5 years and qualified a few people. The year when I was there, we qualified Suarez. The cycle after that, we qualified, what you call him, Nigel Paul, which was a continuity of the program that I was rolling out. Nothing to do with the Amateur Association because they didn't get the funding for it. And everything is about getting the money. If they get their hands on the money, I remember I gave the Amateur Association money to put, and this is a serious thing, you know. I gave them funds for a program for what you call it, a dietary program to give like 3 square meals to the athletes. But the dietitian was supposed to be paid. The food was supposed to be given.
Okay, so we talk about dietitian. Let me cut it there. What is the required menu for boxers that they need to be consistently eating and having?
It's a good question. The basic fundamentals of any sports is food, exercise, and rest. Then you have eating correct for your blood type. Then you have fueling the metabolism of the individual.
Can you state?
Well, for instance,
like
let me give you a
yeah.
little
Yeah.
synopsis here. Not.
So,
When I had Giselle, let's speak to
Yeah.
Giselle only.
Right. We talk about the late Giselle.
Giselle had an issue.
Mm-hmm.
She had something was used to interfere with her, something in her throat, some gland. And we had to feed her specific to her blood type. So when I went through the entire, I went to Balram Saran, the Mikael lab, and he gave me some valuable advice on what type of fruits to give her, what type of carbs to give her, and it was, what was helping her the most was the complex carbs, what type of meat she should eat, and one of the meat that was specific to her metabolism was liver. So I would give her like 3 days of the week liver. We'll give her 1 day lamb.
All right. How the preparation for the liver does be in terms of is it going to be fried or is it going to be how it's going to be?
I was looking at young calf liver, young, the youngest, right?
Right.
But then we realized that the food that we was getting, the content that the animal was ingesting, it was sort of negative to the human metabolism. So then we start to use plant-based protein. I was giving her a lot of plant-based protein, and she started to excel. So the plant-based protein together with the complex carbs,
right,
together with the proper fueling up of the body. And when I had when like on a morning when she go to run, we would run a 7 miles or 6 miles, and we'd run up Lady Chancellor, or we'd run up on the Blanchisseuse Road, and then we'd go for a swim. But right after she finished that run, I will have a what you call a smoothie, a mixture of many different fruits and different stuff. I can't say everything because
you'll be
come to school and learn.
right.
And that is what we fed her, albeit fueling her up. We'll use some. You know, if you drink too much of coconut water, it could dehydrate you, right?
So, I think so.
Yeah, right. We'll give us some coconut. And we'll give us certain things like to help with the brain function. We'll give her like the organic coconut oil, 2 tablespoons per day. That help with the sharpness of the cognitive of the brain skills. Little things like that we'll do. So it's a whole lot of work I put into this child to get that results. So we call him a dietitian. So I gave the Amateur Association monies for a dietitian to give proper food to the athletes, to the team training for the Olympics. Lo and behold, I show up unannounced, and it's like beer, peas and rice and chicken. Peas, rice, chicken, or just normal everyday food. No proper diet on the plate. In the morning you get maybe some sausage and egg and white bread. Not good for, better get them KFC. In the evening sometimes they get KFC. I understand the athletes say they don't want to eat that dog food. Get them a little change. They're going down by the KFC place and eating KFC, which is not good for the body when you're training. You understand? So that is what happened under my watch. Let me tell you something. They went to our games in Venezuela and I lent them $40,000 to help with somebody who was dying down there. I never get paid. We invested money. We gave I personally helped give the association funding and lend them money. I never get it back. But that is how they run. And then they come back now and apply to the state for the same money and get it and never pay me. They carry the bills. They have the bills. All of that went on under my watch. I could talk about, we could go on and talk about, and you know something? You see, just like how I sue the radio station, I sit down with all kinds of information in the archives. One is a false raffle they ran. 2, when I got into office, they were running ghost gyms. I call in the association. I say, how many gyms you all have? They say, we have 52 gyms. I say, well, okay, so 52. And what is your constitution? Every gym must have no less than 6 boxers. That's your constitution here. Okay. Show me 52 by 6 boxers performing in the fraternity. Well, yadi. We do have all the boxers, some of the gyms there. Let me see how you're running this thing. You're getting $3 million a year. You're giving $8,000 a month to each gym.
Now, what is a boxer's salary?
None. A coach salary is $3,000 a month, but you're giving $8,000. You're portioning $8,000 a month per gym from state funds, right? When I check, 25 were functioning gyms and 27 was ghost gyms. I have that document in my possession. When I went to put it out there, I was stopped by technocrats at the time in the ministry. You can't do that. If you go out there, go make we look bad. Don't do that.
That's not a boxer. That's something I'm a puzzle because coaches get paid
$3,000.
and all the other persons who involved get paid, but why a boxer is not being paid? I mean, why a boxer?
That's the structure. That's the corruptness in the structure. That the boxer, I feel, the coaches and the boxers shouldn't even be paid, but a stipend must be forthcoming to give them the nutritional package, and at least the passage to come to the gym on a daily basis.
So a person who wants to get himself involved in that sports as a boxer have to get himself involved under his own fundings.
Yes, and then the amateur association take you over and bulldoze you and bullrag you and give you all kind of BS.
What about the winnings and stuff that they will get the titles?
Well, in amateur boxing,
how does a boxer get paid out of that winnings?
In amateur boxing, all you get is cuff, and the association get all the money. The boxer get cuff, and the association get and misappropriate all the funds. But I was going down a pathway with you.
I have watched some documentaries in my past where.
But let me finish.
That's in the slavery days, right? Boxing, they use the black people to box, to fight for them, to make the funds in their own pocket, to fund their own pocket.
Same system.
All the boxers will get is some water, a wine, a beer, food, and that's it. But do you think that system could change where a boxer, a sport athlete, a sporting personnel could get a better salary to support, to represent the federation and Trinidad and Tobago?
I was changing that when I was heavily maligned by the Amateur Association and its cronies and minions.
So what is the required salary for a boxer?
I don't think there's a required salary for a boxer.
What is your required salary?
In my mind?
Yes.
I think a boxer should be given a stipend.
And what is the amount of that stipend?
Rather than that money go to the manager of the gym, which was $5,000, I believe the manager of the gym should get nothing.
And what is
Hold
it?
on, let me say this.
So if they're getting $5,000, a boxer getting $5,000,
the coach getting $3,000.
That's how it works. So, in your knowledge, if you was in that position, you would pay a stipend of $5,000 to a boxer, right?
Well,
doesn't matter if it's a male or doesn't matter if it's a female. But what is also your mind settings in terms of you are in a position to pay a boxer after they won a title? Is it going to be the same $5,000 or is it going to be a different?
You're speaking amateur boxing, eh?
We speaking of amateur boxing, then we will talk about the mature boxing.
So they were running a ghost gym of 27 gyms by $8,000 a month for years. That was going on. And when I got the document, I went in the sports company. I got the document, and they banned me from going in the sports company afterwards. They said, "Nah, don't let them come there. You go get information and go embarrass all the way." Because all of them sit down there and allow that. So name would have called, and people may have I would have carried to the fraud squad, and people may have gotten arrested. Hence the reason they went up after the Whitehall went after me. Because if I expose this, Whitehall coming down, not with the same administration, but the office, the office which was the sports company at the time would have fallen heavily. So I'm saying that they were allowing ghost gyms and paying for it, and I took over the funding from the Amateur Association and put it under the boxing board to start rolling out programs. It gone back to the amateur. I took it away. I said, you cannot have a board and a company, and the company is the board's boss. A board is higher than the company. The boxing board of control is a statutory board. It has more teeth and power than the sports company. The boxing board must say to the sports company, our fund is passing through you. We do up our projection every year, and it's $5 million to run boxing per year. The money come through your hand, you will give us releases quarterly out of the 5,000 until it finishes. But this is our program. This is our developmental program. For traveling for the children and them to go abroad to games, we have those who qualify or those who show that they could excel locally. Not one boxer fight. The program falls so bad that two boxers fighting each other the last 10 times. They can't learn nothing from each other. Two boxers fight 10 fights. You and I fighting 10 times 10 fights, and you're saying, I have 10 fights. I have one fight. I'm fighting you only. You fighting me only. I ain't learning nothing from nobody else. That is what's going on in the association, and that's what the state is blindsiding.
All right, let me take a break again, right?
Yeah.
We're taking a commercial break. We'll be right back after these messages with Table Talk with Navin and my guest, Boxo.
Sound Visual Concepts prioritizes delivering top-tier entertainment and informative experiences globally. Their dedicated mission aims to create an inclusive platform for a diverse audience. The focus remains on engaging with viewers and listeners, ensuring their satisfaction. Sound Visual Concepts values audience feedback and incorporates it into their content development. Viewers and listeners are at the core of all decision-making at Sound Visual Concepts. Their approach revolves around delivering top-notch content across various platforms. Sound Visual Concepts, your online high-quality entertainment television station.
So welcome back to Table Talk with Navin. And Boxer have a lot of important views and he have a real plenty to say. That's why he was excited to cut more from coming back from this break.
I am saying that the WBC has a program that we can roll out where the youth, it will redound to the boxers and the coaches and not the corrupt associations and organizations and technocrats. The funds allocate for boxing will reach the youths. They will put a training program in place to train the coaches.
Right.
You'll put the said program in place to develop the nursery. There will be a stipend for the coaches and the boxers as it relates to the nutritional package, and some of these people so poor they don't even have passage to come to the gym. We have to look at that. Some of the parents don't even have jobs, and the children have the talent, but the parents don't have the money to send them to the gym.
So we had to put things in place.
So we had to put things in place for that. And you all know, Mr. Decision Maker, since COVID, all you break the whole system. People broken, hungry, poor. You need to put food in hungry belly. You need to put a little sustainable income on the table. You need to put something to encourage the children and them to be. And I want to say, let me say this. When you impoverish a nation, they become violent. All sorts of negativity goes on. When you see children fighting in the classroom and fighting in the road and kicking up bus and mashing up bus, and nobody to guide them, it's falling on you, Mr. Prime Minister, this, you know. Because you are not employing the brains and the knowledge to help with the development of the youth. I spoke to Fitzgerald Hines not too long ago, and I'm offering my assistance. This is not a PNM UNC thing. This is Boxo Potts offering his knowledge to his country so we could have a better country. Right now, I step back from politics. Since my cancer thing, I step back from everything, from even doing shows and stuff like that, to take care of me. And thank God I'm in a better position today. And I'm 75 years old. How many 75-year-old you have around the place walking as fast as I am doing? With the cognitive skills, could hold a conversation for as long as I can. How many 75-year-old you find could do that? And there's a reason for that, because I take care of my metabolism. I take care of my body. I understand how to feed and fuel this body to get the desired result. The desired result, just like I do with the athletes. So we must, and you ask the question, we must have a proper nursery program funded and manned by the state. not the association and the organization. The WBC have one such program. The WBC now have a university that children excel. We can send them to the university to get like their degrees and stuff like that. They could get grants to go there. That's what we can do. Why are you all turning all your back on such goodies? Some kind of political ignorance or corruption or wickedness going on behind the scene, and it's stymied the growth of the youth of the nation, and this is what we get in fighting in school, violence, 5 murders, this one killing this one dead, this one running drugs, there's no money, so people turn into all kind of illicit and illegal things. Listen, Mr. Decision Maker, you have a country to run, you have a people to serve, you have goods and deliverables to deliver. Let's at least start through boxing to do the goods and the deliverables for the country, so at the end of the day we can have a better country and boxing can be in a better place. Boxing is my forte, it is my strong point, it is my discipline, it is the thing I know and study and is very good at. You know, that's where I am, but my specialty is being a mentor and a father to children, to win their confidence, to help them with their growth and development, to give them good self-esteem, to make them believe in themselves. Because most of these children we have out there, you see them fighting and they're wild fighting, and some of them have some skills. Most of them are very talented. If you can point them in the direction. I asked children today, after their school fights, which is all they really want to do, and one of them tell me they know what they want to do. The other one, we got nothing to do. The next one, we looking to go into URP. And that's what I'm talking. Mr. Minister of Education, please. Minister of National Security, Prime Minister. I said when I was in office, and I don't know if Kamala heard, maybe she was too busy and she wasn't listening. You need to form an organs board to interlock your ministries. So the ministry, all ministries will know how each other performing. So in order to grow a child, you need the Ministry of Health. That's where the child is born. You need community. You need education. You need national security. I call 4. You need sports. And you need social skills. All 6 there. Why can't you have a board that interlocking these 6 growth processes ministry to help with the growth of the youth? It speaks direct to the youth. Put something in place. Not one ministry saying, we have funds for that, and that's their own. And it's all state funds that come from one coffers. But when the PSs get their funding, they get very selfish with it. And it does not reach down to the youth, to the people who we supposed to serve.
Right.
So in that disservice, you get all this negative energy coming out. In that just one misunderstanding of how to serve your country. I don't know how much more time we have. I don't know if we time run out.
No, you have more time.
So I am asking for the organs board, and I am asking for the program. I have a program. I have a wonderful program that speaks to training boxers, mental toughness, 2 add-on skills as in academics, maybe English and maths. You have what you call the coaching program. You have the training program for what you call it, judges and referees and stuff like that. And you revamp the whole thing through a nursery program. We have that program. The WBC have all the information to give to you all freely.
Ask a question.
It just needs to be funded internally, that's meaning Trinidad, so that it become like a boxing school.
Okay, let me ask you a question. You ever think about opening your own federation or creating your own?
I'm a member of the WBC.
Yeah, but you see,
you're talking about a boxing gym in Trinidad.
Yes, your own boxing gym where you responsible for that.
Time and effort. It's a good idea. It's a good initiative, and
because in that way now you have control. you have total control of how your way of things is going to be done.
Yeah, but the way the system was designed, and I say that, you hear me call Gabri name a little earlier.
Yes.
Gabri sit in a meeting and say they're not funding nothing WBC because we not associated with the Olympics. We are now associated with the Olympics. Anybody can take a boxer. You, Gabri, can take a boxer. You can take a boxer to the Olympics. I can take a boxer. How do you change with the change? How do you change with the change? You have the entity that you funded is now banned from the Olympics, which is the IBA people. You now have the Boxing Association, which is free game. Anybody can go to the Olympic Committee and say, I have a boxer. I could take a boxer, train an amateur boxer. Come Venezuela, come Grenada, come Barbados, win 10, 15, 20 fights. Recorded wins. And show the Olympic Committee, this boxer winning X amount of fights in the weight class. I am taking him to the Olympics. They can't stop you. They say you have to come to your organization and your country association. So if they have these rules, then I have to go back to Cecil Ford and his association to carry my boxer.
You won't get the support.
Well, they will take the boxer and then they will give the boxer to... I would sit to Renald Cox, Vicky Budram, Dupwell, and I would say no. I want Placid and Johnson and myself in the corner. I want to call in a foreign coach. I want 3 coaches. I don't want the coaches who failing and losing every fight in every round to be in my corner. You'd be a madman to take a fighter who winning and put a set of losing coaches to work the corner. So I would want skillful, intelligent coaches in my corner. The Amateur Association will tell you no. They want the losing coaches to work the corner because they have relationship with these coaches.
Okay, Boxer, you have any closing remarks, because we're coming to the end. We have about 3 minutes remaining on the time.
I am
would you like
calling
to make any
on
statement
the Minister of Sports to sit with us, get the stakeholders, not call it, you all like to call big stakeholders conference and spend a set of money and have hors d'oeuvres and have things to eat and drink and play the fool with the state funds, and at the end of the day we get no results. Do it virtual. Do it virtual. So you don't have to spend nothing. Right? You get boxer pots, you get the director of sports, you get the person in charge of the sports company, you get somebody from the boxing board, you have the minister sitting in and listening, you bring somebody from the boxing association, and we have a discussion of how to rebuild the nursery to help the country, not the association. None of this is going to be manned by the association. Why? Because since the birth of Adam and Eve, you all have never won a medal at the Olympics. And this country spending more money in boxing than any other country in the world. We spend more money in boxing than Guyana, Barbados, all of them. And them, Guyana got a bronze medal with Michael Paris some time back. I think Jamaica got medal. Everybody has get, I mean, people go to the Olympics and get medal all the time. But boxing, the only thing we just do in boxing is medal in each other's business. We don't get medals, as in gold, silver, and bronze, but we like to medal in each other's business and bring down and back talk each other. So I'm calling on the state to assist in changing the direction of the corruption in the sports of boxing.
Okay.
And if we could eliminate the corruption, then we will get results. But if you let the same old, every time you apportion money for an initiative, half is spent in corruption. Case in point, the Amateur Association run a corrupt raffle. The police investigating that for the last 5 years and nobody ain't get arrested yet. A corrupt raffle. You know what is a raffle? A raffle, 2 Cifero went up to be raffled. The association called the raffle and them and their friends win the prize. No Cifero was bought. None. There is no document of any Cifero being bought by the association to be raffled. Not one was bought. The police have the report. What is done with it? Well, I'm calling on the commissioner to investigate that too. To make sure that somebody is arrested and charged for running a corrupt raffle under her watch. Because let me tell you something, you have to apply to the police for permission to have a raffle, you know.
And the NLCB board.
and the NLCB board. And I went both places and everybody started dancing. I went by the NLCB board, they all got to run me out the office. You understand? Because somebody protecting somebody from getting in problems with somebody. And that is how the thing went. So yes, if we could eliminate the corrupt practices, just like the Olympic Committee take a stand and say, but we can't deal with you no more, you're too corrupt. The government, the Ministry of Sports must tell the corrupt IBA Association, we can't deal with you no more, you're too corrupt, you're embarrassing we. You're failing at every level, so let us try something managed by the state without the corruption, with proper oversight, so that at the end of the day, the youths could benefit. I thank you. Do you have a question to ask?
No, Boxer, but we're coming out of time right now, but I guess everything that you said is very important. And it is very, very interesting to educate the public that what's going on in the boxing fraternity. All right, that is the reason why we have Boxer Pots on the program here on Table Talk with Navin. But Boxer, for the last 2 minutes, I'm giving you 2 minutes again to give a closing statement.
I'm looking at the and I think we had enough on boxing. Mr. Politician, the way you all behave in public, the results we're seeing with the youths is as a result of all your behavior. Mr. Politician are across the board, both opposition and incumbent. The way you all carry all yourself, the decisions you all make, the language you all speak, the way you all take jabs at each other, the way you all diss each other, the way you all speak in the parliament over the people business more than the way all you politicize things, the way all you protect all yourself to the detriment of the public. You all change all your modus operandi. If all you change it, you go see some change with the change. But when the children see all you behaving like gangsters and hoodlum at the highest level, what do you expect? What do you expect the children to say, do as I do, or do as I say but not as I do? What all you expect? What the recklessness we see in this society, every day 5 murders, children fighting in school, teenage pregnancy, that is another thing. They have a thing they call, a law they call statutory rape, and we have more teenage pregnancy, underage pregnancy than anything else in this country. I remember when I started with Giselle Salandi.
I remember we lived in a lawless society.
You remember when Giselle Salandi was too young to box?
Yes.
And a minister went in the parliament and said boxer pots will get charged for child labor? You remember that? Sure. And I call a press conference and I call out the said minister and say, when you could go into the hospital and lock up all the men who breed them underage girl, when you could go in the whole house and pull out all them teenagers who prostituting themselves, I got turn myself into the police for the child labor you speak to. Because when a Stevie Cotton in America, case in point, as a jockey was riding underage, and all his money went into escrow until he became 18 and they could have taxed the money. But he was allowed to perform his trade.
That makes sense?
Well,
that he's still allowed to perform, but they seize the money?
No.
So what they do?
His earnings went into escrow. He's a young jockey. They couldn't tax you under the age of 18, you cannot be taxed. But he was allowed, just like Giselle was allowed to box under the age of 14. Madam, what's she name? Oh, the minister, some Robinson girl, Regis Robinson, say, boxer pots will get charged for child labor, he better have court closed, the police going to arrest him. And I said, you better check yourself. That statement, you're going to make somebody close to you get arrested for breeding them teenage girl and making baby in the hospital, and the name turning up as father and people turning a blind eye to it. You better check that before you come to boxer pots. I never hear nothing about that again. Because it's true. Men in all of them family breeding them little girl and making baby in the hospital. Big overage men over 18, breeding girl 13, 14, 15, 16. They're going in the hospital and making baby. And the name on the girl and them saying who is the father. And the men and them ain't coming forward to sign. But what the government doing about it, and you have a statutory law rape. Anyway. But you're aiding and abetting rape in your hospital. When them little children go in and make baby for bigger men, for elderly men, they call it statutory rape. I need to see all these men behind bars or being charged. It is a serious thing. And when you turn a blind eye to that, but you want to come up after boxer pots, for taking a child and making it an icon. You want to stymie that. You want to stagnate that. You want to downplay it. You want to disenfranchise the initiative. And then you come talking about your running country.
Anyhow, Boxer?
You're running your mouth.
And that's it, folks. Today program. Oh God, if I give Oxo 3 hours, I might and then to give him at least 4 hours. But Oxo, thank you very much for being on the program this morning, right here on Table Talk with Navin. I thank you very much for being here. All right, folks, Table Talk with Navin. It was a nice pleasure having you in the program with Boxer Potts as my guest this morning. See you next time.